Hey guys, this is Joe with Keaton, and today we're back with the Atomic Drop podcast, and it's been a while since we've done this, and we've got a lot to talk about, so let's ring the bell and let's get to it.
A ding. That sounded weird.
Yeah.
Let me try that again. Ding, ding. There we go.
There it is. Alright, Keaton, so a lot has happened. I guess it's been, it's probably been like a couple of months since we last did one of these, and man, there's so much to talk about, really, and not just with WWE, but just in general, it feels like. There's been a lot of good stuff happening. We've got the NXT seems to be changing up a little bit. The Cruiserweight Classic has started.
You've got the insane amount of shows to come with New Japan, because you've got the Super J Cup and G1 going.
Yep. That's always exciting. And,
so much wrestling.
I don't like Lucha Underground, man. I noticed that they had a pretty big show this past week, right?
Yeah, Lucha Underground actually just wrapped up this week with the third part of Ultima Lucha Dos.
Right.
How they always finish the season off, and I guess we can talk about that. We'll talk about that after.
Yeah.
Let's go start with the WWE antics first.
So the big thing that's pretty much been going on is the WWE draft that happened this past week, and pretty big thing because SmackDown is now going live, which I'm always in favor of. I'm not a big fan of taped shows. It's about time they made it live. I think that's pretty exciting in itself. But obviously in doing this, they decided to do the brand split again. And I just want to stress from the top that, the brand split wore thin last time. You know, it got to a point where I was just like, please end the brand split. Please just end the fucking brand split. But now I guess it's been a while since they've done that, and now they've mixed them up. What was your take on it this past Tuesday when it all went down?
I don't know. I feel like my opinion is in the minority, but I'm not too bothered by the way that it went down. I wasn't actually. Let's put it this way: I'm actually more interested in what they're gonna do going forward from here than if had the internet gotten their way. I felt like that would have been much less interesting for me personally as a viewer. So that's sort of my take on it. But
because the vibe from the internet, the general vibe I got just from like reading online and people's thoughts of it was just that, you know, SmackDown got the shitter results, and it didn't quite line up with the kind of the message they was kind of putting forward before it happened. You know, it's kind of like, Daniel Bryan's the GM of SmackDown. It's probably going to be this kind of the wrestling focused show.
Yeah.
And I guess people weren't too pleased with the results because it kind of felt like the picks they were making didn't necessarily correspond with that. There was like something lost in translation between like the kayfabe kind of reason behind it and then like the actual what went down. But in my opinion, I feel like it's kind of a bit naive for anybody to even expect anything different at this point. You know, it's the WWE. You know, they're going to pick like wrestlers who probably, you know, who don't deserve to get picked before others in terms of a wrestling focused show. But I mean, it was just all a bit meh to me. Like, obviously Finn Balor got caught up. That was a big one. That's pretty exciting. About time. You know, I'm pretty excited for that. I think everybody was more excited about the NXT picks, you know, and see what was going to be done there. Because again, that goes back to the kayfabe reason. Like, why aren't you picking Nakamura? Like, why aren't you picking like Samoa Joe? But you know, anybody with, you know, I would have hoped for Samoa Joe to go up maybe, you know, but I just did not expect like anything like Nakamura to happen. Even if that was kind of like the kayfabe, you know, this is going to be the wrestling show. This is not going to happen. They need somebody in NXT who's going to like bring in the money for the tours. Obviously, he's still relatively new down there. I mean, obviously, he's a legend. You know, you don't need any training in the ring, but yeah, that was my general thought of it. Basically, just, you know, I felt like it was kind of what I expected, and I want to say I was disappointed, but I wasn't because I didn't expect much anyway. You know what I mean?
I will say there's one major concern that I do have, and it's been something that's been bothering me since it was rumored that, you know, a brand split was coming.
Right.
And my biggest concern is what happens to the women's division now? Like, because they introduced like a reinvigorated women's division that's focused on, you know, really pushing the women brand, or the women as like a wrestling brand. But now, what do the women who are not on the show with the champion do? Like,
it's pretty scarce on both brands now. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you've got Sasha and Charlotte's on Raw, right? I think Becky and Natalia, and we also got Nia Jax on Raw. She got caught up.
Yeah.
And Alexa Bliss, I believe she's going to SmackDown. That was pretty interesting. But yeah, man, it seems pretty spread thin at the moment in terms of women on each side. Hopefully, it'll give like each respective kind of women's wrestlers on each brand to kind of shine. Maybe not to be like so cluttered now. Maybe not so many mixed tags and all that shit, because that always infuriated me. But I guess we'll see. But I don't even know what the deal is with, like, there's been no word about the championships. I guess they're just sticking with single belts for now. Because I know they're doing like different pay-per-views, so I'm not sure how it's going to work. Like, I don't get it, but
I'm under the assumption that somehow like the world title is going to be reintroduced, so that both brands have like a heavyweight champion. Yeah. But again, it's like the women don't have that courtesy, you know. So what happens? Do you bring back the Divas Championship? I don't think so, because that would be a regression. So like, so what do? Do you like set up a tournament on the non-championship brand that somehow determines like who gets to challenge for the belt? It's very confusing.
Well, and what I would have liked for, you know, if they had more women's wrestlers on each brand, like say if like there was a shitload on SmackDown and like maybe, you know, six or so on Raw and then the rest on SmackDown, maybe they would start up like a women's tag division. But now there's just not. There was like barely enough to do that with both brands together. They can't do that with like both brands separate, so I don't even know what they're going to do. I feel like introducing a different women's title will just be way too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, but you know, belts don't define everything. You know, if there's good feuds, I'm looking forward to that. That'd be nice.
Sure.
You know, some really in-depth feuds.
In terms of like the female division, like a lot, even with the reintroduction of the women's title, a lot of the women's storylines have still been bickering without even the title really being the main focus. Yeah. You know, like the motivation, like I feel like the motivation story-wise for a lot of wrestlers is always trying to become champion, you know, and when you take that away, it's sort of, it's a question of what's the motivation for this character to be in a wrestling environment if they're not looking to be the best wrestler, you know, of that brand or whatever. So
yeah. And that's the thing as well, like talking about divisions, even the tag division's now separated, and that was like barely scraping by. I mean, the called up American Alpha, that is awesome. Yeah. That's probably like the best, I'd say that was like the best thing about the whole like draft, to be honest with you. Like they're two of my favorites at the moment. Really, really good wrestlers. So I'm really excited for those to be called up. Like I'm really happy for those guys to be up there. But like, I don't get it. Who are they working with? Because Drew, you've got the club on Raw, right? Except for AJ's on SmackDown. I think the Usos are on SmackDown now. Yeah. I believe the Ascension, did they get drafted to SmackDown? I kind of wasn't even paying attention at that point on the network show. Yeah, but you know, I guess we'll see what happens with the tag division as well. But yeah, you know,
but maybe it is. Yeah, so sort of just moving it forward, like, so the whole reason I'm not really disappointed overall, though, is because this does introduce a lot of new potential. Like, that is probably, that is the reason that I'm interested to see where it goes from here, because the draft picks are so seemingly random or so unconventional from what you would expect, that this does give the WWE reason to sort of hit restart and try something different, something new with characters, with like breaking up a lot of factions and everything that gives them new potential to grow, you know, not be held back by, or not be held down to what, you know, they were known for before, you know, like the club don't just have to be the club now. They can be like, I don't know, maybe it's an evolution of what they started as the club, you know, who knows?
Yeah. Maybe even Balor will get involved somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what if AJ starts a different branch of the club on SmackDown, and then we have like a club versus club faction war down the line? You know,
I'd be excited for that. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, there is a lot they can do, and I am pretty excited for like the freshness of it all. Just because, man, WWE has been so tired for me like recently.
Yeah, it's been very stagnant.
it's been really hard for me to watch. And to be honest with you, there's been some Raws where I haven't even watched. Like, it's just been that bad for me. Like, I just couldn't get into it, you know. But this is kind of shaking things up, and I'm kind of looking forward to it because there's going to be apparently new sets. There's going to be obviously the new commentary rosters being chosen for each brand now. And that's different. Not the commentary roster I wanted, but again, it's WWE, so you know I'm not gonna fucking, you know, if I don't get Morrow and Corey Graves and whatever. But yeah, overall I'm pretty interested, just because it's been so shit for me recently that nothing can be worse. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm at. So.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm kind of glad it's that way because, in reality, the fact is that I'm not gonna be able to keep up anymore because in general, just the main roster is asking 5 hours per week of my time, and it's just
much.
That is a lot. Yeah, that is a lot to ask for. But I'm glad that each side at least has things where they can be like, look, man, whether you're a casual fan or you want to see it from a technical competitive standpoint, you know, you're gonna get a little bit of both. So at least it's not a case of, if you're like this type of wrestling, watch this show. If you like the other type of wrestling, watch the other show, because that is bad business. Well,
you say that, but apparently the Cruiserweight division is going to be on Raw, and like, who's going to even be in that? I know Kalisto got chosen for SmackDown, and that was confusing to me.
Yeah. Again, I'm
Balor going to be in that? Like, I don't even.
I'm assuming they have a lot more planned.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, just because I want them to succeed with this, whatever the hell they're trying to do. Yeah. But it is what it is, man.
It's pretty interesting watching some of the wrestlers' responses. Did you see that supposed shoot interview from Cesaro where he was like complaining he got picked like in like the 10th round or something, and he didn't want to be on Raw because it was like he didn't want the stupid which, to be honest with you, man, just please get the McMahons off TV. Just please. I'm just so through with like the Steph McMahon kind of like airtime, man. It's just tired to me now.
Well, I think Cesaro put it well, is like, I actually don't mind them being authority figures, you know. You kind of need that to keep people in line. Kind of like William Regal, you know. But again, I like the hands-off approach because, again, like Cesaro said, they shouldn't be the main focus of the show.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that going forward, both sides agree on that point. Like, we're not going to be the main focus. Like, this is the reason we pick GMs and established people that the crowd likes.
Exactly.
So hopefully going forward, there's less McMahons, not so much focus on the GMs, but more focus on the actual wrestlers. You know?
Yeah,
it'd be great.
So that's pretty much what's happening with WWE. I mean, I think there is a pay-per-view this weekend. It'll be tomorrow if you're watching this on the day it releases. And
can I just say a bit of a positive note here is, whoever is doing the marketing and graphics for Battlegrounds deserves a raise, because they've been doing really good. Like, I like the flag idea, really good concept, and it really shows. It really gives each individual wrestler like their own brand and like signature and everything. It really sums up their characters, you know, going into the battlefield.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool.
I also do like that it's very clean, but it's still got some of that digital grit to it with the overall graphic design. It's very nice. It's a nice change of pace, because I feel like, oddly enough, no matter where you go, every wrestling promotion, a lot of their graphics are kind of cheesy, you know?
But
this is clean, very straight to the point. Really like it. So if there's anything positive I can see about Battlegrounds.
I know that's all we're all gonna say about Battleground. I don't even know, dude. I guess Roman's coming back. What's gonna happen there? Who knows?
It is weird that the pay-per-view takes place after the draft. I feel like they should have had the draft after the pay-per-view so they could wrap things up and then go to the draft, you know?
Yeah, it didn't kind of fall in line that way, I guess. I don't know what happened there, but they're like billing this like last time ever thing with Owens and Zayn, and like apparently they're on the same brand again. It's like, why even, like, for weeks, dude, they was like talking about this could be the last time we fight, you know? And then like I feel like they've just completely burnt that whole storyline, and with the fact that a week before the pay-per-view they've announced that actually they're going to be on the same brand, so they're probably going to be wrestling on fucking Raw the next night, you know?
Yeah.
It's no longer billed as like maybe the last time ever. That's what kind of bothered me.
the draft also kind of deflates the great build that they've had for the New Day versus the Wyatts.
Right.
Because I think the Wyatts are split up now.
Yeah, right.
The draft. So, but again, another positive I can give is the New Day versus the Wyatts has been probably the shining beacon in what has been pretty bland programming.
Thought he was going to say the shining stars. Then I thought.
I don't know where they went, man, but I'm glad that he disappeared so quickly, man.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. I don't know.
Here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. I feel like sometimes WWE fans don't give things the opportunity to grow. Like, I've been thinking about it. Like, people are praising the Cruiserweight Classic for being like this grade A like sports thing. But my problem with it is, as much as I'm enjoying the Cruiserweight Classic, it's not my brand of wrestling. Like, that's not particularly the reason I watch wrestling. I watch wrestling because I like to watch like characters play out in this improv style performance, So I like when characters have lore or backstories or things that define them, other than being I'm just a guy with some characteristics, So I like the Wyatts because they have lore, they have a reason beyond just I'm a wrestler here,
Yeah.
And when people are chanting at Bray Wyatt, Husky Harris, I'm just like, you're not giving it a chance, man. Like, these are people who are trying to define a character to play, to give you a reason to be invested, and to give creative, material to work with in the future,
Yeah.
But then, like, Lord Tensai, I thought had a great background. They didn't hide the fact he was a white man. They played up, he was a white man who went to Japan, dominated, took a Japanese name as like a souvenir, and came back to America or, back to the West to dominate, with that new demeanor. But then immediately people were like, Albert. And it's just like, come on.
Right.
And obviously, he had some missteps because I think he did like some racist stuff. But I feel like characters don't get, like The Undertaker. If The Undertaker were to debut today, in today's time, I feel like he wouldn't get the benefit. Like, But that's a whole nother thing. I'm just saying that I feel like as much as the technical, athleticism can be celebrated, you still need characters and that entertainment value to really keep people in their seats, For people like me, at least, so we keep watching.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess talking about the Cruiserweight Classic, you've been enjoying it, like, I think there's only been 2 episodes so far.
Yeah.
And I've been really enjoying it. It feels like a breath of fresh air.
It does.
It just feels nice to just watch wrestling, and you can, it is obviously catered towards a specific audience who, is into this kind of thing, which is why it's so good for the network, because subscribers to the network are probably the ones who are going to kind of know some of these guys and be into this style of wrestling. But man, it's just been so good. And like, let's just put aside like the wrestling for a second. And I'm a sucker for tournaments, dude. I like tournaments. I like things going down, wrestler versus wrestler. I like brackets. I like that kind of thing. So this is really for me. And I really like that they've kind of like played up to that. And I love the graphics where it's like a video game where it's like
the
wrestler versus wrestler.
Of CWC is so good. Everything from the graphics to the way that the ring is laid out.
Yeah.
The colors, the purple is beautiful.
Yep.
The mat has like it has a tap out sponsor.
Yeah,
on it,
top out sponsor.
But
yeah,
it looks so much more like a sporting event.
And
I do like the whole video game started like funny style aesthetic. It just really speaks to me.
yeah, exactly. It's just so good how they've done it. Like even the little touches they're doing, trying to make it feel like an actual official thing. We saw the weigh-ins. Every start of it's like basically like MMA. At the start of the match, the ref will say, the rules. Any questions?
Yeah.
You go to your side. Let's go. I don't know, man. It's just my kind of thing. I love it. Like,
I'll tell you one little detail that I really like about the way that they set up every match is the handshake. Because the handshake immediately tells you what kind of characters you're dealing with.
Yeah.
So that's really good.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's like just back to the MMA thing again, where it's touch gloves now. Some people don't, some people do. It's all part of like the psychology of the match, and like The commentary team is just so good. Moro, they couldn't got somebody better. He's like my favorite. I'm so glad I'm so glad he was the one who got to do this. And you just seen the interviews with Triple H saying, "Oh yeah, when we first got this idea, I wanted Moro to do it." It's like good because this guy knows these people, and Daniel Bryan is so enthusiastic. Obviously, he's wrestled some of these guys. I just the whole thing is just so good.
Yeah,
like I just love the commentary style. I just love how they call moves. I like how they give history. That's what I like. I like hearing history about the wrestlers in the ring. Sometimes that, like you were saying before, sometimes those details get like omitted with the WWE. Understandable when it's like they're trying to build new characters and things.
Yeah.
But the thing with the Cruiserweight Classic is that these are already established wrestlers. You know what I mean? So that's the kind of stuff you want. You want it. They're all using the same names. And it's just so good because, like, I haven't seen some of these people wrestle before, and I thought, I was watching the latest episode, and I'll put it on. I wasn't really in the mood to watch it, but after like the first match, man, I was like proper into it. I was like, man, this is why I watch wrestling.
Yeah, and the international flavor is just amazing. I'm really, really happy that they were able to find like just so many people to represent so many other places like Hong Kong, Philippines. Yeah, like we have some Iranians, I think, like some people from India. It's like wow, man, such a diverse like
Chile.
roster that they got. Yeah,
China.
It's really good stuff. And again, I really hope. I think I read like rumors that I think if the CWC did well, like they were gonna do like a women's version, and I really hope they do that because that would be cool.
Like Shine Wrestling, but on WWE stage, and there's so many women wrestlers. Man, that'd be awesome. I'm just thinking of some of them now. Like, yeah, man, that'd be anything in this format. And I think Triple H said they're gonna make sure it's like I don't know if he necessarily said annual thing, but he said it's definitely gonna be something they're gonna try and do, even before like the first episode aired. And I think it's doing well. I haven't seen anyone say anything bad about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
man, I'm waiting to like opening matches. Like I'm actually like the brackets like slowly kind of unfolding. You're seeing like these matches which are gonna happen next.
Yeah,
and I'm just I'm so excited for some of these matches. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, I think as much crap as a lot of people give the WWE, I feel like out of any company currently with any sort of influence in terms of like the business, I feel like the WWE is really killing it right now with like really giving wrestlers platforms to just shine,
Yeah.
As much as the main roster stuff is not doing too well, everything else is doing pretty well, I think.
It's such a weird contrast, like all these things. Like NXT is so well received, Cruiserweight Classic is so well received, and I think people like myself included, I thought when they do the brand split, maybe one of these shows is gonna get more of like that. Maybe the focus is gonna be more on that. I mean, we've not seen the brand split yet, We could, this Monday and Tuesday could come, and SmackDown might be the most wrestling focused show I've ever seen, but just from the picks alone, I just didn't get that vibe. But we'll see again. But I mean, I've not got much to say about NXT. I know we've not really covered it much, and we've talked about the brand split and that impact. But
yeah, I mean, NXT has been pretty solid. I feel like right now we're sort of in a waiting period because so much has been going on with WWE's like main roster deal, and the transitions from like people like Balor being moved up. It's like we're sort of in a waiting period, and what concerns me the most though is like the women's division in NXT, because like they took a lot of the women talent from NXT in the draft, so it's like, who does Asuka fight now?
Yeah, I mean, I know they've got some kind of I know they've got some women on the roster, there's quite a few who are like coming up, but nobody's been like a mainstay around the roster for a long time, so I guess some of those are going to get the spotlight now, which will be cool. There's definitely some talent on there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with NXT. It kind of does feel like it's in this transitional period as well, so
yeah,
I don't even know.
Honestly, just like watching NXT for Nakamura these days is just like, that dude is an enigma of just charisma. Like,
so
I wish
good.
I could walk into the room as like as weird as Nakamura can be, and just still be so captivating to a room.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people who don't even watch wrestling react to Nakamura, and they're like, "This guy's great." It's like, I wish I had that kind of charisma.
I assume they're gonna put the title on him next. I don't know, and then maybe bring Joe up. I want Joe
back in like 2 weeks. So
yeah, I'm excited for that actually.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see. The thing I'm happy about, kind of weird to say it, but I'm kind of glad CM Punk is gone, because that means Hideo is probably going to get the GTS back, and
yeah,
I can't wait for him to finally do that move, like on an actual televised special or whatever, like his that GTS.
Yeah, I can't remember, because I remember he like went for it a couple of times. Did he never actually hit it?
He's teased it a lot in his matches, but like the only GTS he's ever hit was like at a house show or something on Tyler Breeze.
That's right. That's what I'm thinking of. Right. Yeah.
So he's never officially hit it on TV yet, or on a network or anything. So when that happens,
I'm glad he's back.
Yeah.
That's gonna be good.
I feel so bad for the dude, because like I feel like he was being sort of like groomed to be the next face of NXT, and then he had an injury, and so many people since then have come in, and I'm hopeful that he'll be able to pick up speed again, and then really take off, because the dude deserves it, I think.
yeah, exactly. So I guess this is another case of just waiting to see what happens now, but I mean, other promotions we spoke about, obviously New Japan.
Dude, New Japan is just, man, it's so hard to keep up with New Japan. Like, apparently Naito's not even IWGP champion anymore. Apparently Okada got it back at some point. I was surprised to see that, because I watched some of the G1.
Yeah, I ain't seen it recently, dude. I was hoping you could fill me in. I have not been following it too much.
Man, I don't know the wrestlers well enough to really give a good summary, but Lost in Gordon, I don't even know how to pronounce that. But Naito's who's pretty much, here's the thing. So for the longest time, the Bullet Club were like the big heel faction in New Japan. But this Lost Ignore Labr, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but it's apparently like some kind of like Mexican stable that Naito, who is like this big deal now, he was part of that, brought it to Japan, and he's like the Japan version or Japan extension. Right. And when he won the IWGP Championship, this dude is just known for just not giving a damn.
Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, I love seeing him on his phone and stuff during like the conferences and shit like that.
Utter disrespect. Like, he's been so disrespectful to the belt that they actually had to they had to remake it, because he broke the belt because he would throw it so much. So that's the kind of character you're talking about. Like, he takes the Stone Cold levels of don't give a damn to a whole new level in Japan.
Yeah,
but
he's so good.
Yeah, so I mean, he won the championship. He gained a huge following from that. It was that back at was it Wrestle Kingdom, I think?
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah.
So sometime between then and the G1, he lost the championship, but still going strong.
Yeah, because I it's kind of hard to like keep up with it unless you subscribe to like the New Japan kind of on demand stuff. But yeah, they've got so many good wrestlers down there. Will Ospreay's down there now. He wrestles for those, and he's always having like great matches and things like that.
Will swears so much during his matches, man.
He does, man. It's crazy. You could never get away with that in WWE. I'm just watching it, I'm like, fucking hell. I mean, I guess like WWE don't care, because Kevin Owens used to swear so much and stuff like that. But like, yeah, he does. It's kind of funny. But with me being British as well, it's like I can't help but wonder. Like, I bet some of like I feel like everybody else will just find that funny, because I find it funny. Like, it's just weird. Like, but yeah, it is kind of funny when it's being kicked and it's like, "Oh, you motherfucker! Oh, you dick!" He sounds like he's got a very unique way of selling. Put it that way.
Yeah. I like that. I like that he pretty much sells everything like he's being eviscerated.
Yeah. It is really good though.
Yeah, but I mean,
him and Ricochet will be in a WWE probably this time next year, I'd assume. I just can't see it not happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of, but it's like so like the G1. Like, apparently there's gonna be like a 3-4 hour events every single Sunday. Well, my time Sunday is like Monday in Japan or something.
Yeah, there's so much wrestling, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to follow, but still, I think Shibata, man, that dude still destroying people with this
Yeah.
insane offense. There was actually a really good match between Tenzan and Ishii at the G1
Right.
that was really good. Like Tenzan busted out a moonsault, and like Tenzan is like an old dude, man,
Yeah.
and that was crazy. But yeah, New Japan going crazy. But you were speaking about Ricochet, and Ricochet is also in Lucha Underground.
Yeah, he just had a match with Rey Mysterio, right? Prince Puma.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Kind of spoiler here if you haven't seen it, but he lost, and I feel like he should have won. Just saying, man.
Yeah, I saw that Ray won, and I want to follow Lucha Underground. I just can't really, unless I like download it illegally or something. But so what? So what's the big deal with Prince Puma losing? Why should he have won?
Well, I feel like Lucha Underground built season one around, or they built season one around Prince Puma. Like Prince
Right.
Puma came in as the shining crown, and somewhat of a spoiler here. At the end of season one, he like, wait, did he? No. Yeah, at the end of season one, he finally pretty much lost the championship that he held the entire season.
Yeah.
And I mean, Prince Puma was brought in as the hometown boy, like he is from Boyle Heights, where Lucha Underground is filmed.
Yeah.
And again, his lore is that he's a direct descendant from one of the rebellious Aztec tribes or something.
Yeah.
So he's literally like technically like royalty in a
Yeah.
sense.
King
Like,
Ricochet.
yeah, he's got some very his character has been built to a point where you think he would be like the John Cena of like Lucha Underground, just not the
Right.
Superman style, but the sense of respect and admiration. So I felt like what they were building to in the entire season 2 of Lucha Underground was that Prince Puma was going to continue his ascension to being like the top dog of Lucha Underground
Yeah.
with his first off, I just gotta say Ricochet, amazing athlete, terrible on mic.
Right.
I think there's a reason that Prince Puma doesn't speak at all in season 1 and most of season 2, but they finally allowed Prince Puma to speak in season 2.
All right.
Kind of spoiler again, but it's kind of hard to avoid at this
Yeah.
point. But yeah, so finally he speaks in season 2, and God, he gives such a bad promo. But basically, he says, he pretty much take the Nakamura route where he's like, if I want to be called the best, I have to beat the best. So,
Right.
if he wants to consider himself one of the best luchadors, he has to beat the king, El Rey,
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Rey Mysterio. So, that's how the whole match at Ultima Lucha happens. And unfortunately, he loses.
Right.
Which I feel like sort of I can understand why Ricochet would have probably wanted to leave after season 2, because at that point, what do? Like,
Yeah.
because Prince Puma has already solidified himself as a top competitor, but he's not ascending. So what does he do? Tread water until he tries to ascend again? I don't know. Because
Yeah. It is weird because it's not even like Ricochet even needs Lucha Underground, It's like...
yeah, I would say at this point, Lucha Underground needs Ricochet more than Ricochet needs Lucha Underground,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know, I haven't read anything from season 3, but
Right.
I will say that without spoiling anything, I feel like I don't know the timeline, but I feel like at while they were doing season 2, production got the green light for season 3. So
Right.
it definitely feels like Lucha Underground has gone from like very not so much like isolated seasons, but it's obvious you can tell that they're setting up for season 3,
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so does this mean that I should keep watching because Prince Puma's gonna pull out something crazier? Because here's the thing, the Rey Mysterio Prince Puma story is not like the main thing going on in Lucha Underground right now. There's
Yeah.
so much more going on, and it's a question of with the direction and with how much crazy things are happening in Lucha Underground, is Prince Puma just gonna get sort of lost in the shuffle?
Yeah.
Kind of like King Cuerno did this season. He had his moments, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like he's not really the big dog that he was in season 1, or he wasn't as prominent, in season 2, and I don't know if he's even gonna be in season 3 at this point. That's how far he's sort of fallen from the top of the hierarchy. So
right.
There's a lot of questions going into season 3, but I don't know if they're good questions. At least from a talent standpoint, from a story standpoint, I am excited to see what they do. A lot of questions brought up, a lot of things to look forward to.
Nice.
Pentagon Jr. is crazy.
Yeah, so I've heard.
So, yeah, I think that, again, as I said in a previous episode, I fear that the biggest downfall with Lucha Underground will be that they will become too big too soon.
Right.
And a lot of their talent will go wasted, sort of like how the WWE has,
Right.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm hopeful for season 3. Apparently, season 3 is super long, so
Nice.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think the general consensus really is there's a lot going on in wrestling that hopefully it all turns out to be good.
Yeah, well, with that said, man, is there anything else you want to cover? I feel like we've covered the major promotions. And if any other topic that you want to talk about before we wrap up?
Wrestlers should stop doing drugs. I know that much.
Yeah.
I feel like in this day and age, you don't need to be doing drugs, man.
Apparently, now this just came out today, and we're recording this a few days before this releases, but apparently it was like it was like reported that it was maybe Adderall that Reigns took.
Yeah.
I guess that's an I've kind of heard of it, but I guess it's like an American thing.
I think it's supposed to help with focus and I think it's the same thing that I think it might be the same drug that the esports teams got pegged for.
Right. Yeah.
Drug testing. I could be wrong, but I feel like it was Adderall. But
yeah.
That's a weird drug to get caught for because
right.
It helps with attention. I think so. Does Roman Reigns suffer from ADHD? I don't know.
Well, who knows? That might not be true, but that's just something I read, literally not long before we started recording this.
Yeah.
And there's some other news that I just read before we started recording this, is apparently Shelton Benjamin and MVP may have re-signed with the WWE. I don't know.
No, that'd be
was
cool.
Literally about 10 minutes before we started recording this, that news came out, so we'll see, but apparently that's just been reported, so I like Shelton Benjamin, dude, so I'm down for that.
I feel like if there's any other time for Benjamin to come back is now because talent can probably finally get you somewhere, other than mic time. But I hope that his mic skills picked up in the time that he's been away.
Yeah, man.
I think that was his biggest fault, because I've always felt like he was like a shining star in terms of his athleticism.
Yeah, it was really good.
Good guy could not cut a good promo, save his life.
I did like the storyline with his mum there all the time, man. That was...
and that time he looked like Cisco or whatever with the golden hair. Yeah. Oh my god.
Jesus.
But the other thing was Brock Lesnar, right? Didn't he get caught for steroids or I don't even know what it was.
Yeah, he got caught for PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. Doesn't actually come out what it was.
No.
It was in both the before and kind of pre in competition and out of competition testing, he got the same result. It was the same drug, but it's not come out what it was. But yeah, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Could be banned for 2 years.
Yeah, I wonder if that's gonna have any effect on his WWE career.
Doesn't seem like it does. From what they've released, it doesn't seem like it's going to affect. It seems like it's just for MMA. Obviously, WWE have their own wellness policy, so
yeah,
it's weird, dude. The whole thing with him fighting MMA is weird. I mean, now it's been a few weeks now and stuff, but pretty weird.
So
it's fighting Randy Orton. That's a bit meh. I'm just gonna say that.
Is that at Battlegrounds?
No, that's gonna be at SummerSlam.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was gonna say if he was busted for doping or whatever he did recently, then technically he should not be able to compete. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't understand it. WWE should technically be well, it all depends what it was as well. Because they never come out and tell you. That's the only problem with USADA, is the guys who do the testing. they don't tell you, but if it's up to the person who did it to tell you, and it's like, well, all right.
Yeah.
Well, no one knows what it is, so
Yeah.
could be anything at this point. Apparently we know so far it's not street drugs though, so not weed or anything like that. So it's going to be something that he was fucking pretty built though at UFC 200. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he did look pretty toned and ripped when he did the weigh-in and stuff. So who knows, dude?
Yeah.
I did find it funny how Heath Slater got the light turned out on him in the draft. Did you see that?
Yeah. I saw like a headline on WWE.com, like since he wasn't drafted, he was looking at like Evolve or other places.
Yeah. What is going on here? This is weird, dude. Like, I was like, what? Is he actually being like...
Well, apparently, like, Luke Harper wasn't drafted either, and apparently he's gone radio silent on Twitter or something.
Apparently, now he's injured, so he wasn't actually in the list of people to be drafted to begin with.
See, that's the thing that confuses me, is like they didn't do like a full roster draft. They just did like picks, and then like, where does everybody else go? I don't understand that.
Yeah, Heath Slater was the only one who was on the official list who didn't get drafted.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh.
Yeah, and everyone just thought like, it was so funny because like he didn't get drafted for the whole thing, and everyone's like, what happened to Heath Slater? Like, and then they had that like, thing at the end where the lights get turned on. I was like, oh, so it was like on purpose then.
Oh,
like,
okay. Yeah, I didn't see that part. I just read like a headline on WWE.
Yeah, well, that's it. That was it. The show ended on WWE Network, and you think that's it, and then it just cuts to Heath Slater in the waiting room by himself, with all the seats around him, and he's like looking at, and then the lights get turned out on him. And I was like, wait, is this an actual storyline? And I feel like it is now. Like, I don't know what's going on, but it's actually got me interested. I like Heath Slater, dude.
Oh, yeah. I was surprised. Like, I remember he had to fight, I think, Seth Rollins at one point, and he did really good. And I thought that was going to be like a push for him, but then he went on to beat the three-man band. Or, no, was it?
No. Yeah, the three-man band, but it was the one-man band to begin with.
Yeah.
Now he's obviously in the social outcast, but...
Yeah.
As far as we know, I mean, I guess we'll wait and see. I kind of just want him to show up on both shows. Now. I just kind of want to show up on both shows, but him not being let in the building, like something like that. I don't know, but I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for Atomic Drop in I guess, what is it, July?
Yep.
I guess we'll try and be back next month if anything good happens. I guess. I mean, we could fire this up and talk about the Cruiserweight Classic for half an hour. So.
Oh yeah.
Especially when we've got the second round matches coming up, we should be into those by the time the next one rolls around. So that's gonna be pretty exciting, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's the best thing about the Cruiserweight Classic is the further it goes, the only better it's gonna get.
Yeah, the better matches go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do for a winner. There's obviously the obvious choices, but they could throw something in. They could throw something out there and get somebody you didn't expect to win it. You don't know.
That's the beauty, man. There are so many potential winners for this that I just can't wait, man.
Yeah, me neither, man. I'm excited for that. But yeah, there it is, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And yeah, make sure you check us out next month when we're back. We'll be talking about the Cruiserweight Classic, and apparently the extra pay-per-views are going to be putting out in the this coming year. Now they've got the brand split. We'll be talking about that as well, seeing how that's going. Hopefully it's something good. Hopefully they mix it up, some different sets maybe. Hopefully the commentators are good as well. I'm excited a little bit for that, but I'm more excited for the Cruiserweight Classic. But yeah,
I'm just so hopeful, man.
Yeah, we're just gonna be hopeful, and
I'm gonna cross my fingers super hard.
Cross them, Keaton.
As I ring that bell, ding ding.
There it is.
Bye.
See you later, guys.